Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode of Leicester Reborn. In today's episode, it's either a Champions League round of 16 game or the Carabao Cup final, whichever one comes first, because both haven't been scheduled. With that being said, though, the main reason why we're back here is the reason on screen. Without further ado, though, and before we get into it, give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let me know how happy you are that Luis Guilherme Silva is deciding to stay and sign a new deal. So after receiving the bid from Bayern Munich, it eventually got to the stage where we rejected the 88 mil bid from last year. He did get injured. He's out for 3 to 4 weeks, as mentioned as last episode. He came to me and said, well, I'm not happy you rejected it because it was a big wage rise. I turned around and said, what was the wage rise? 120k a week. Perfectly fine, wants to be an important player long term. I'm not going to say no because the guy could be one of the best players in world football, and nearly is. So without further ado, Luis Guilherme Silva is here to stay. He's on a 5-year deal on 120k a week. I'm happy, you're happy, we're all happy. They're all happy as Larry. Of course, in the links down below, we are currently live on stream, so if you want to see what happened, 5th of August, the day after my birthday, we're currently live filming this episode and this part. As always, you can watch the VODs if that's what you do, watch Football Manager when you go to sleep like me, or anything like that. But yeah, without further ado, it's either Man United in the Carabao Cup or a round of 16 game in the Champions League, whichever one comes first. Well, YouTube, welcome to deadline day, where I've made a bid, and a big old bid, for a 17-year-old midfielder that is at Ajax. I've been doing some scouting in between, birthday celebrations. I was out, I did stream yesterday and then was out last night, did some scouting last night while releasing some YouTube content. So there's an FPL video now on the channel if you want to go watch that. And secondly, while scouting, I found Patrick Ogbu, who I'm going to show you in a second. I just want to go through this bid first, and there's 2 other players that I've signed specifically for the 18s to hopefully help them second half of the year to maybe push for the title as well. But yeah, Patrick Ogbu, 17-year-old defensive midfielder at Ajax. Genned out at Ajax, is also Nigerian and, of course, Dutch. He looks fantastic. For him to have 42 to 50 mil sort of transfer value and be in Ajax's main youth system, he's obviously very good. 20 mil up front, 21 mil over 3 years, which is 7 mil out the budget. We can obviously afford this, which is great. And then a lot of this next set is obviously over time. 3.5 mil after 50 games played, pretty much a drop in the ocean, take a couple of years to do that. 5 mil if he plays 20 games for England. I think this guy will play for England eventually, so obviously why I'm signing him, but obviously 5 mil when he plays, that's fine. And then lucky last, if he scores 20 goals from the middle of the park, we get to give him 3 mil. I'm over the moon with that because there's no sale on fee. Let me go in and show you Patrick Ogbu. As you can see, at 17 years of age, he has got quite an amount of well-rounded stats. He's also got a lot of 10s and 9s out there that are going to become, 12s and 13s. If you're looking at mentally, his lowest stat is a 9, which will obviously develop. Leadership, maybe not. And if you're looking at him physically, apart from the jumping reach, the lowest stat there is a 6. What I really like about him is that as a deeper line playmaker, superb. On the ball, moves it around, very good. Ball-winning midfield, I think, would be great. Also got penalty taking of 14, so this guy's going to be a very good penalty taker. I just think if we got him into the football club, we played him a bit, we worked his physicals, he could be a very, very, very good midfielder. Now, I will say this is starting to mean that we're probably having too many midfielders, and we do have a guy out on loan already that is by the name of Stravru, who I was looking to play next year. But Stravru is also someone that could come in and play centre-back, he could play in the hole. Now, don't get me wrong, Stravru is someone that I do plan in playing here at this football club. I've put so much time and effort into his loan spells. Next year, he's the guy that's going to be here. But the plan is that Ogbu's too good, need to bring him in. Secondly, Thuram is going to make way next year. Obviously a fantastic footballer, but I think while he's still, in his prime, we could sell him and bring through one of the kids. And it also could be the likes of a Lavia, who keeps getting injured as well, that we might sell on there too. 2 fantastic footballers, but we're getting to that stage where we're starting to bring through the youth. Not that Lavia and Thuram aren't youth, but maybe a couple of the youngsters, because I think Reyes is borderline ready to start games over Thuram right now as well. We're going to have quite the midfield package. So obviously Ogbu's going to come in here. Let's go see his contract here quickly, guys, because he could be an amazing signing. Not going to loan him out. I'm going to just get rid of these for now and see what he does. He's not as interested, but that's fine. Only reason I've done that is because I just want him to not expect to be playing as many minutes. He's still 17, so even at 19, if he's staying at the football club but playing under 21s in that occasional Champions League game and he's still happy with that, that's really good because it means I don't have to sell as many midfielders out the way. But yeah, as you can see here with the scout report, analysis report, no, scout report. Yep, already a League One player, a very consistent performer, born in England, making him English, which is fantastic. And playing in the second division there for Ajax's second team, and he's been playing solidly. I just think bringing him in, playing him in the 21s, playing him in the occasional game first season, he will develop immensely and will become probably our best hot prospect. So there we go. Now, with that being said too, we've actually signed 2 other players, and I've actually took screenshots of how we signed them. If we have a look at the 21s and we go look at the fixtures, I haven't signed them for the 21s. The 21s are flying at the moment and are 9 points clear. They didn't win the league last year. If we have a look at this last year, they did not win. They came third. The year before, they came second. So they're yet to win the 21s league. They've come close. This year should be the year that they do it. I'm not changing that 21 squad right now. Ricardo Mace, who's now playing for me off the bench because of how well he's developed so far, is scoring a ton as well. Wanted by half the world on loan to buy options, not going to happen. Now, with that being said, if I go to my 18s, right, they're playing okay, but that's the group stage of the cup. They did win the FA Cup last year, but if you go to the under 18 division league thing, there is as you can see, they're 4th, but they're in a bit of a fight. Just feel like bringing in a couple of options into that team is really good. Now, if you look at the under 18 squad, so to say, there's not been anyone that really above this 4-star sort of thing. You have obviously the 18-year-old and Amanu, who's going to move up to the 21s next year. You got Fletcher, who's not bad. You got Sabri, who's not bad, but only going to be moving up next year. So we don't really have anyone really, and my youth intakes have been pretty poor. Jean last year was my best youth intake player. This is the thing, when you get guys that are 15, 16, 17 playing regular minutes in the under 19s and playing well, they do develop like this. And Jean didn't look particularly good coming out. He now looks particularly well-rounded, and I think there's a world where this guy could become actually a very good footballer, does Jean Cisse. But let's talk about the 2 that we signed. I've got the screenshots here as well. So this is the James Few transfer. So James Few, as you can see here, 4 mil fee up front, over 6 months, over 2, so over a year's time, 4.2, so 2.1 mil as well. So over a year's time, I think that's fine. 3 mil after 50 games, 2 mil after 20 games for England, and 1.6 mil if he scores 10 goals. Now, the main reason that they put all that in there is James Few is a guy that can play left wing back or up front or on the right wing. Reason why I've signed him is because if he hits his potential, he's obviously a good footballer for the Premier League. Secondly, he's physically pretty elite for a 17-year-old. They'll all get to 15s part of the strength. And he's fairly well-rounded. He's someone that if he develops very well this season, the 18s, next year in the 18s, and the year after in the 21s, he could turn into someone like we've done with Jamal Zand, who, is already a 3.5-star, very good up and down wing back. Yeah, mentally and physically pretty good, technically Wayne's, but, someone that is usable in the Premier League. And that's all I'm after there with James. And if he does that, his price will go up and he'll be a fantastic footballer. So that's James. The other one, which I'm really excited about, is Tom. And Tom's only 16, so he's going to be playing in the under 18s for the next 2-3 years. And like Stuart Warren, would actually become available for, being homegrown at 18, and he can loan him out as well. So let's go have a look at what we did for Mr. Jamie Stewart. He actually rejected my contract. Tom, there we go. Tom Lawoski was 6 mil up front plus 5 mil over 3 years. So 1.6 mits over the next 12 months times 3. Absolutely nothing for 11 mil. If he plays 50 games for us, there's 6 mil just there. That's 18 mil if he plays, and 2.2 if he plays 10 games for England. Yet again, for him to get the 50 games and 2.2 for England, it could be when he's 21, 22. I love throwing those 2 clauses in there because the England one takes forever because of it being England. They don't choose particularly very young players to play. And secondly, if they're playing 50 games for you over time, they've developed into their potential like a monster. So I think these 2 guys have been fantastic, which is great. Let's go see if Ogbu joins now or decides to stay at Ajax because I didn't give him a good enough contract. Should come in. Wouldn't play him against Arsenal. Would give him his debut there against Sheffield though. And then, obviously, Stravrool coming back in next season. Ogbu, Catherine Taram, Lavia, Ukrate, Reyes. All of a sudden you can start hearing my voice that we've got maybe too many options there. But Ogbu's officially signed. Patrick Ogbu, here he is. Put him straight away into the 21s. I will make him available for the Sorry, throw him straight into the first team squad. I'll make him available for the 21s, thinking about maybe making him available for the 18s. But some deadline day business, getting in some youngsters. Well, ask Carter to welcome him in because Carter's been fantastic for us. Obviously, going to make him available for the 21s there as well. And if I go to my club page, I think Patrick Ogbu, there he is now your new hot prospect at Leicester, and he's someone that will not be going out on loan anytime in the future because I want him to become homegrown for the Champions League and beyond. YouTube, this is disgusting. We come back in and they've programmed the Champions League round of 16 in between the Carabao Cup. So we've yet to win the Carabao Cup. We lost 2 finals to Liverpool last 2 years. So we lost the Carabao Cup final last year, Liverpool 5-2. The year before that, we lost 2-0. And the year before that, I think we got knocked out by United in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Somewhere. There we are. Semi-final, second leg, lost in a shootout. So, yeah, and our third Carabao Cup final has been wedged in between Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. So what I'm going to do for episode 49 is I'm going to give you Atletico Madrid, and episode 50, which is next episode, will just be the Carabao Cup final. I'm telling you guys right now, out of the 2 competitions, it may sound ludicrous to say this, I would happily get knocked out of the Champions League, even though we made the final last year, to win this Carabao Cup because this would be the 3rd final in a row that we've lost. It just sucks that we can't rotate. This is what I hate, is every year the 5th round of the FA Cup gets programmed on the weekend that the Carabao Cup final would be. I'm pretty sure in real life that Carabao Cup final stays as it is. That is the weekend, no dramas. On FM, they always move it to 2 weeks later, and every time you get wedged in between like some really big games. So yeah, I'd just love to have a week to prepare for a Carabao Cup final. It would be nice, but look, this episode's going to have Atletico Madrid in it. Hopefully we pump him in the first leg, or we rotate in the first leg. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the boys are just going to be really tired for Man United in the second leg. It's going to be a bit interesting, this. Here we are, YouTube. First round, 16, Champions League, knockout stage. Very weirdly worded. But it is Atletico Madrid away from home. We're going to see how Atletico look to go at the moment. They've been to be fair. In the Champions League phase, they finished 22nd. Drew AZ, which is a very kind draw to get through. They've been a bit meh in the league as well. They sit 6th, which is one of the lowest spots you'll see Atletico sit. So it's probably a good time to be playing them. Now, we do have this massive cup final against Man United coming up in a few days' time as well. We've got injuries. Velez is not going to be 100% fit, but I think I would risk Velez in that semi-final, in that final, because I just want to win the comp. And he could play today. Now, in terms of the teams, Velez could make the bench. Smith Rowe is gone for sure. Zand is ineligible because there was an under-21s game today, has to be said, and Marsh is out. So, with that being said, and it's another under-21 game, Mace was going to make the bench. I've screwed up. I forgot. What we are going to do is Velez is going to come out to the bench. Silva's going to start in here. Yaya is actually going to come in for Hassan on one side. I'm going to get Scott in the middle. And because we do have a final coming up, I'm actually going to play Reyes. I'm going to play Lavia. I'm going to play Luke Thomas. And I am going to play... By the way, Jose Marshall's injured as well, isn't he? Yeah, Marshall also got injured. I was going to play Marshall. The reason why I've sort of rotated is because the Carabao Cup final is so important. I think a rotated team could still do a job. You know, Yaya's great, Silva up front's fine, Scott's good in the hole, having a good year, Elise's Elise, Lavia is still a world-class player, Reyes is very good. You know, Reyes arguably is better than Thuram at the moment, so in he goes. Thomas, Tomori, Skriniar, Carter, and Melier. I do really want to play Linus over Skriniar as well. So, I think that is your team. Bench is a bit weak because I forgot the 21s played Man City today. And yeah. Let's go have a look at Atletico Madrid. Also, while we're here, corners and attacking corners, we now need the striker to move around because we have a guy that is 5 foot nothing up front now. Tactically as well, team looks fine. I might start... No, I'm going to leave Reyes as good as Volante. Let's go have a look. So they've got Depay up front. We have played Atletico previously in the Champions League. We beat them. Carrera, Felix still world class, Fofana, Koke is slow, Katkurt's not great. Look, this is the side that is getting a bit older and not getting any quicker. I look at this team and go, you know what? As long as we play our best, we should win. Now, Oblak's still world class, On the bench, they've got some decent options. This Ivan guy I'm actually scouting because he's only he's 20 and looks okay. I actually think there was another Ivan at 17 that was the one I'm scouting. Anyway, let's get into it. It's been a lengthy episode. What I might do is play this leg, and then if the game's in the balance, I will give you the second leg after the Cabarro Cup next episode, in episode 50. If this is an absolute mauling, then we'll be alright. Right now, I'm happy to take any result that isn't us losing by more than 2 goals back to England. As you can see here, 20 minutes in, we've had more of the ball, we've had chances, but no highlight. And to be fair, knowing that we're resting some players, we have a Champions League, we have a Cabarro Cup final coming up, and it's a competition we haven't won, then I would love to. That's why the Cabarro Cup's so important, just to be one and done and win it, because then I could have just went full strength and rotated in the final, whatever happened, but isn't the case. Anyway, for Fafana now on the ball, Reyes looks to squeeze, we don't win. Squeeze again, force All Black all the way back. Bonomo, Lorente, we get up the field again. Can we squeeze? Can we force them long? Can we win the ball? Lorente again. Haven't let him out the press. Now that looks like they're going to face forward here. It's a ball over the top, but it should be our ball here. Oh my word. Defensive mistake. Thank Christ it's now hit Skriniar, and there we go. Skriniar and Melier run into each other. We pressed really well there, did not much. Atletico came back into it though, and at half time it's 0-0. I'm going to get aggressive here, fresh the arms, start the second half. Not seen too much from us, but yet again, we're happy with this because of how it situates with the Cabarro Cup final. We're not happy with Fuentes being in here. This should be a goal. Oh, of course. Block falls back to Fuentes and he scores 1-0 down. These fixtures are going to cost me a Champions League run, isn't it? If I lose the final, if I lose the Cabarro Cup final, I'm going to be livid. But here we go. 1-0 down. Very even game. Injuries, under 21s playing, fixture run. This has been really, really, really horrid. Corner. Elise whips. Tamori heads. Black makes a good save. They play out very quick too. Fuentes, Joe Felix. Mistake. Lavia wins. Elise looked half offside. Silva scores, but it's offside, unfortunately, with Elise being off. It's not going to count. Elise was offside in the build-up. Looked offside, at least. Probably should not have skipped that high. He looked off by a mile. Alright, with that being said, San's going to come in for... San's going to come in for Scott. Yes, he will. You're great for Lavia, who looks dead. Tarum as well. Livramento for Luke Thomas. Elise is actually going to come off. And I don't want to really do it, but Velez is going to go up front to try and find me a goal here really late doors. Ball thrown long as San. Velez gets brought down. Referee says no. A goal for Atletico. If this is 2-0 and Atletico score, we're out the Champions League. We won't score more than 2 against Atletico. They're historically a very good defensive side. Don't score many goals. Saying that, Livramento on the overlap. Needs a runner. No one ran for him. Ugrate wins it back at least. Livramento was with him. Looks in the box. Deflects. Velez. We'll take the bloody 80 sort of goal. You bring him off the bench off one leg and he finds a moment and Velez scores his 100th goal in club football. And it might be an important one in the 82nd minute. We get it back to 1-1. You're great with a ball. We win it back. Ball in, deflects up. And when you're 6'7", you're going to get there first, aren't you? Over the keeper and the centre-backs. And that is Velez off the bench scoring. We'll take it. 84th minute. Good tackle. Tarum. We're still on an aggressive system and I will be because I want to see if we can win the game. Carter now. Silva made a run. Silva's still making a run. Silva's there. Velez wants it. Velez, oh man, that's a bad miss. Point blank range, hits it straight at Oblak. He really should have scored. Look, 1-1 in the balance. I'll take this because I think at home we'll dominate Atletico. We really should have won on the night, 17 shots, 10 to 8 shots free. But we've come back. We've got a goal through Velez. We'll have the Cabarro Cup final and the second leg next episode. It has been a interesting one. I'm happy with the result because it means at home we should be favourites to get through. And that's all that matters. And we'll see what happens there as well. I'll see you guys in a few days' time for episode number 50 and the Cabarro Cup final at Wembley, where we look to finally win the Cabarro Cup for the third time of asking. It's our third final in a row. We'll finally do it, and then we'll obviously have the second leg against Atletico Madrid at home only a few days later.